Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Fleabag, hit the fun button and let's roll. Oh, you did. Okay, great. I didn't see the golden finger there. Ah, lovely. Cut with my pants down again. Well, welcome to Monday. Did you have a good weekend? It was a fabulous weekend here in Southern California. I woke up this morning with a glide in my stride and a dip in my hip. Man, it helps though. When you got buck naked beach weather happening right now, temps in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, that's why we put up with the bullshit in Southern California. From Hollywood, it's the world famous Mojo Elliott with another action-packed adventure of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Thanks for dropping by. Hey, I'm happy to say membership for Rat Nation is growing. If you haven't signed up yet, go check it out at ratsasspodcast.com. I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to spoil the surprise. All right, we're going to start today with a truth burger for you. Dan Bongino, podcast host, like me, and an ex-Secret Service agent, unlike me, has been named the FBI Deputy Director, and he's going to work with Bondi, Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, and Kash Patel, the new Director of the FBI, to reshape the whole department. Now, here's Dan on his last podcast talking about where his focus is going to be out of the gate. Dano.
Why is Adam Schiff so worried? Folks, I strongly encourage you to go back and take another look today at the Russia collusion hoax. I know it's a story that's old and a lot of people want to move on. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't want to move on. We had the FBI in conjunction with the Department of Justice, officials in Congress, foreign governments, and intel people fabricate a story, invent a story that could have caused and done serious long-term harm to international relations with a nuclear-powered foe. It's kind of a big freaking deal. I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go. I want to find out what happened because it can never happen again. Not to a Democrat, not to a Republican, not to a Libertarian, not to any United States citizen. You do not get to alter or try to change the course of electoral politics by fabricating a story, hijacking the justice system then to give the patina of truth to a fake story. You don't get to do that. Why do I bring that up now? Because who is the ringmaster of that circus? Yes, Adam Schiff. Particularly good mood today.
There you go. There you go. Dan Bongino, attack dog. This is going to get good, folks. And the doorbell rang over the weekend. Ding dong, ding dong. The Wicked Witch of MSNBC, Joyless Reed, is out of there. Yeah, they fired the race baiter. She's gone. She's going to be moving to California, working the drive-thru at McDonald's because it pays $20 an hour. Now, you know, I typically hate to see somebody lose their job, but in this case, good riddance. Good riddance. She didn't deserve to have the show. What a race baiter she was. But here's the thing about MSNBC, and this is what I learned running radio stations for many years, is that when you have a brand that's as tarnished as MSNBC, it's done. It's fried. I mean, I think I have more listeners on my little podcast than MSNBC has viewers now. It's destroyed. So they have no choice but to relaunch the brand. And if it was me running the show, I would change the name, relaunch a whole new network. And I would hire a couple of faces of the franchise. I would go out, since I'm going to be attacking Fox News, who sits on top of the mountain, I'm going to get people who they fired. I'm going to go get Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. I'm going to launch a brand new brand. That's what I'm going to do, but I'm just crazy that way. But we'll see what MSNBC does. They'll probably want to keep the brand. They think that, oh, it's NBC. It's NBC. It's bigger than anything on the planet. So their ego will get involved in this. And they'll bring host after host after host on. They'll get no traction because the brand is done. It's toast. It's fried. So I finally went to go see Becoming Led Zeppelin yesterday, and I was reminded of how big this band was in the 70s. My God, such a well-done documentary. If you're a Zeppelin fan, if you're just a fan of rock, you need to go see this because it is well done. There's a lot of footage. Now, I thought, okay, you're going to show us a little bit of extra concert footage just to get us in. They did a lot of footage I haven't seen in any Zeppelin documentary before. And it was all done with the former band members who are still alive. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones. They also had some audio from the late John Bonham included. And they basically did this with all three guys in the room at the same time, but they looked like they had them talking individually. They didn't have a conversation with each other. And it was interesting to hear these guys talk about how they created Zeppelin music. I was a little disappointed they didn't talk about any of the shenanigans, because there's lots of rumor that Led Zeppelin, these guys were just a little bit wild and crazy, especially when they came to California from England. But it was a well-done documentary. I will tell you, don't go to AMC theaters to see this, though. I was reminded why it has been probably a decade since I've gone to AMC, because their policies haven't changed. Movie time was 1:55 p.m. The movie started at 2:25. That's 30 minutes of frickin' previews. Had to be 10, 15 previews that I had to sit through before it actually started. Then they did all this fluff about how great the theater is. You know, come to AMC, watch your movies here. It's a great experience, great sound, laser, AMC. And the sound sucked. It was terrible. So I was reminded why I never go to AMC theaters anymore. I'd rather wait for it to come out and stream it at home on my stereo system, which would be like, going to a concert theater. I'm a stickler for sound. But it was a fabulous documentary, and I was reminded of how big Led Zeppelin was. I mean, if you talk to any real hard rock band from Aerosmith up, they were all inspired by Led Zeppelin. Every single one of them will mention Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page. When I was in high school, I remember everybody that played guitar wanted to play like Jimmy Page or Ritchie Blackmore. But the majority of them wanted to play like Jimmy Page. And to go back and listen to Zeppelin music, which I was inspired to do, I must have sat back and listened to 30 songs from Led Zeppelin last night. That's probably another reason why I got to glide my stride, my dip in my hip today. Another reason is the Lakers rolled into Denver Saturday night and kicked the Nuggets' ass. They had lost 13 out of 14 games to the Nuggets, and they walked in with Luka Doncic, who had a great game, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, he's still not in game shape. When he gets in game shape, oh my God. Oh my God, I don't care if the Lakers have a C5 or not. That's a center. A big man in the middle, or they call him a big in the NBA. They don't need a big. Okay, the way they played that game against Denver, all four Lakers outside of Jackson Hayes scored over 20 points. Luka had 32. I think LeBron had 25. Austin Reeves, 23. Roy Hachimura, 21. They just kicked Denver's ass, and they played great defense, both sides of the court. They were fabulous. So if they can play a game like that against everybody, the Lakers are going to be giving some people some head trauma. They certainly will. And tomorrow night they play the Dallas Mavericks without Anthony Davis, but they're playing in L.A., and guess where my butt's going to be? I'm going to be at Crypto, and I'm going to be kicking back with a cold one watching the Lakers hopefully drill Dallas. All right, let's play some head trauma. This round is called It Sounds Dirty, but It's Not. All right, here are your 3 clues, and see if you can figure this out. I'm going to give you 3 clues. See if you can figure out what this is. Sounds dirty, but it's not. Number 1, I have designs on your body. Clue 2, you pay me to poke you, but it hurts. But it hurts so good. Number 3, I leave stains when I'm done. All right, clue number 1, I have designs on your body. You pay me to poke you, but it hurts. And number 3, I leave stains when I'm done. All right, think about it. I'll have the answer coming up on the podcast. I'll also post it on the Rat's Ass Podcast Facebook page later. And you can connect at ratsasspodcast.com. Are you ready for some loose behavior? It's Monday. Let's get you ready for the week here. All right, here's what's happening on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. Slim Dandy posted this. How did you break up with an ex and why? Fleabag picked out 3 juicy ones here. I did read these. Alexis, she said, after the bastard cheated on me, I called his mother and said, hey, leave a message for your son. If you ever try to contact me again, I'll feed your nuts to a squirrel. Alexis, why would you call his mother? I could picture a guy maybe in his 40s getting a call and say, you tell your son if he ever contacts me again, I'll feed his nuts to a squirrel. But anyway, that's a nice subtle approach, Alexis. Damian Smith said, I sent a White cake to her office with the words, "Go fuck yourself, Melissa," written in red. I sat on my back porch and watched her bang my neighbor through his bedroom window. Boy, that's some trailer park stuff, isn't it? Just sat there and watched? Why didn't you go kick his ass? My God. I don't know why you guys make decisions like this. I mean, I don't even want to get into it, to be honest with you. I just find that mesmerizing. I know I'm not going to go kick the guy's ass. I'll just send her a cake and break up with her. Platoon leader said, I sent her a CD with a dozen breakup songs with a message at the end that I didn't want to see her anymore. A little creativity there. But his reasoning was, she got too large for me and I'm not into the large Marge type. So I'm assuming this was pre-Ozempic. All right, let's get into today's celebrity cheese. Did you hear this? Sean Combs' lead lawyer quit on Friday. She quit. She said, I can't put up with this anymore. I'm done. Leaving Diddy dangling. Isn't dangling what got him in this mess in the first place? All right, who are these guys? Who knew it? That they were friends. Justin Bieber and comedian Dave Chappelle. They were seen hanging out in West Hollywood Saturday night, and guess what they were doing? They were smoking. They were smoking. Those bastards were smoking cigarettes. Ooh, smoking. This is what the media wanted to report. They were hanging out smoking cigarettes, yeah. They were just a couple of drags sucking fags. And in West Hollywood, you can take that any way you want to. Paris Hilton threw herself a star-studded 44th birthday party over the weekend. Kat Von D, Jessica Alba, Sofia Vergara, Sydney Sweeney, and, of course, Snoop Dogg made an appearance. Yeah, Paris threw herself a party because no one else would. And it did occur to me when I saw Snoop Dogg there is that he doesn't really make music anymore. He doesn't tour. He just makes appearances. He blesses everybody with his coolness. I was thinking that, you know what? If you hang a clock around Snoop's neck, he'd be the next Flava Flav. All right, the SAG Awards took place over the weekend, too. It was another opportunity for the Hollywood elites to get together and kiss each other's ass. And they let crazy bitch Jane Fonda go off on another one of her The Sky is Falling speeches. Here's what I think happens before the award season. You know, a couple of weeks before at a show, they take Jane off her meds. You know, she's 87 years old now. And they set her up in a nice dress, do her hair and makeup, and they just turn her loose. Well, here's my message for Jane Fonda. Nobody gives a rat's hairy ass. All right, here comes your Rat's Ass Podcast email from our Gmail. This is where you email your questions, comments, thoughts, and observations to me at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com, and I answer them. All topics are on the table, and I cannot be offended, so take your best shot. Just be outrageous and salacious. Those are the best ones. That's what we like. All right, I do not read your email in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can respond rapid fire and on the fly. All right, Kennedy K. from Montpelier, Vermont said, a friend turned me on to your podcast, and I have to say you jam a lot of content or a lot of stuff in 20 to 25 minutes. My question is, how would you deal with a friend that owes you money and always has an excuse for why they can't pay you back? Well, Kennedy, first of all, you never loan friends money because look at it as a donation. You're never going to see the money back, and if you expect it back, it's going to ruffle the friendship. So how much do you value the friendship? Okay, because once you start hounding for money, they're going to disappear. So always look at it as a donation. Don't expect it back. If they give it back, lovely, fantastic. Okay, or you can look at it as, you know what? I don't care if you're a whimpering dog in the dirt and you're dying of starvation, I'm not loaning you money. You can take that approach. But know that if you loan a friend money, you're not going to see it again. And you approach it that way. All right? So kiss that money goodbye. Jake M., Amarillo, Texas. Can you name 5 things you did last week? What, did I miss something? Is today Play Along Must Day today? Well, let's see. I did 3 podcasts. I went to a movie and I got my back waxed. How's that? It's as smooth as a baby's butt right now. I'll post a picture on X if you want. All right, Michael M., Lincoln, Nebraska said, have you ever killed a man? Fleabag, what is this? Outrageous and salacious. Okay, he's holding up an O, which means he put it under the category of outrageous. Have you ever killed a man, he said. Well, Michael, I can't say that I have had the pleasure of killing a man, but I have had the urge, I will tell you that. Oh, yeah. You're probably wondering what stopped me? The fear of never having pizza in Poontang again, actually. But there was this one time in Phoenix when I was doing a radio show there. I was living in Arizona, and I was cruising Metro Center, which was popular to do at that time. And I was driving an 85 Chevy IROC Camaro with a top down, the T-top. Feeling good. It was black, it was gold, it was a beautiful car. And a couple of girls in a Mustang with the top down were flirting with me. Well, it turns out I flirted back, and the guys in the truck behind them were their boyfriends. They didn't take too kindly to my flirtation. So they came up beside me, and they decided they wanted to have some trouble with me. And I told them to pull over. So we pulled over in front of Bennigan's, which was a restaurant. If you've seen the movie Waiting, it was a restaurant like that. And they got out of their truck, and it was one of those flying high trucks where it's like 20 feet above because they got those huge wheels. I mean, they could have drove over my car and sent me a nice message with that thing, but they chose to get out of the truck. Now, I always kept a Louisville Slugger in the back because I never knew when I was going to run into a softball game, so I always kept a baseball bat in my back seat. So I reached around and got my back. I got out of the car, and I'm standing at 6'4" with my boots on, and these are snakeskins, by the way, really sharp-looking boots, and I jumped up on the hood of my car. Yeah, back in those days, I had a vertical that would just shock people. But I jumped up on the car, and I took the bat, and I said, "You motherfuckers, come on. You want trouble with me? I've killed once, and I'll kill again." Yeah, they hightailed it back into the truck, and that was the closest I ever come to committing murder. All right, Daphne N. from Carlsbad, California. I just moved to California, the first of this year. Well, welcome. Welcome to higher taxes and higher insurance. And I want to know where the best beach to hang out near L.A. is. Again, Fleabag, really outrageous and salacious here. But I answer all emails that come in. Did we have a light email weekend, Fleabag? Or were you just being lazy? All right, anyway, Daphne, here's your answer. A lot of people like to go to Redondo Beach and hang out because it's got a pier. They'll go hang out in Santa Monica because it's got a pier. Some go to Malibu, want to go see the stars. They're not out. Stars never come out. But they'll go to Malibu and hang out because it has a pier. Personally, I like Zuma Beach because it doesn't have a pier. It's just a nice, quiet, large beach with nice people. Plenty of places to park along PCH and the parking lot there at Zuma. And, I always, it's about 10 minutes from me down Canaan Dune. It's one of the most beautiful drives you can ever take in Southern California. And then, after a day at the beach, you just head up PCH a little bit to Neptune's Net, where you can people watch, have some really good fish and chips, and a cold brew. All right, Todd B. from Norman, Oklahoma said, "I work with a really hot girl." Congratulations, it's nice to work with a hottie. Who I really like and get along great with. I want to ask her out, but I know she thinks of me as a friend, not someone she'd date. So how do I approach this to let her know I'm interested in being more than friends? Well, first of all, Todd, you never mess where you work. Now, if you really like this girl, the best thing to do is to quit your job, if you're willing to do that. Kind of know where she hangs out and just show up after a month or so. And she's going to say, "Oh, it's so nice to see you. It's so great. Oh, God, yes. Ooh." Then you just say, "Hey, we should get together and go out and have a couple of beers sometimes." And if she says yes, then maybe she didn't think of you as a friend. And if she says, no, I like working with you, but, hit the bricks, Todd. I was only being nice because I worked with you. She'll turn you down. But first of all, you never mess where you work, buddy. Never. Not unless you're willing to go get another job first. Megan A., Melbourne, Australia. She said, you Americans make things so complicated. When a guy approaches me, I know what he's after. So I get right down to the nitty gritty and I tell him to drop his pants and let's see what you're packing. Oh, God. Oh, I could see that. "Hey, can I buy you a drink? Drop your pants." She says, if he's got a loaf, I'm going home with him. But if he's got a little snag, we're done. A little snag. Okay, in Australia, folks, that's, I guess that's slang for a Vienna sausage. All right. Oh, God, I got to get to Australia. Somebody like Megan would make that trip worthwhile. All right, if you have any thoughts, observations, comments, or questions, send them to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. All right, here's your head trauma answer. We're playing It Sounds Dirty, but it's not. Here are your 3 clues, again, that I gave you. I have designs on your body. You pay me to poke you, but it hurts. I leave stains when I'm done. Do you know what it is? A tattoo artist. Did you get it right? It's a tattoo artist. How'd you do? Well, if you missed it, you know what to do by now. Go see a doctor about your head trauma. All right, I got to go bring back the sun in Seattle, but I do have one more thing for you. Studies suggest that unmade beds are happier and healthier for you than a neat made bed. And here's why. Apparently, bed bugs have a hard time surviving in a messy bed. Now, I'm saying if you're not changing your sheets twice a week, you deserve to get attacked by bed bugs. Are you familiar with the Monday, Thursday theory? On Monday, you change your sheets because of all the action you had over the weekend. After you sleep in those sheets Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the Thursday rule says you change those sheets again. You know why? In anticipation for the weekend that you're going to have. So if you're not living by the Monday, Thursday rule, may the bed bugs chew your ass apart. All right, how about a few shout outs? In the USA, folks tuning in from Charlotte, North Carolina, Wilmington, Ohio, and Baltimore, Maryland. Around the world in Madrid, Spain, Vancouver, Canada, and Frankfurt, Germany. And that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the new ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials. You can listen to podcasts there, join Rat Nation, and read the blog, where right now I've got the top rock bands of all time according to ChatGPT, Forbes magazine, and more importantly, me. We'll do this again on Wednesday, February 26th. Take good care of each other. And thanks for stopping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.